Okay, so we're in 4A and 4B. Sorry about the saw outside. So the first thing I'm asking is, what do we really know or already know about the relationship between a table of values, so one of these things, an XY table, sometimes we call it, and a graph, so what I would put on a coordinate plane. In this case, it's going to be a line, okay, and we'll talk about what lines equations look like and all that later. A graph, and then some rule. Okay, so some equation that gives me this. So in this one, the rule I'm going to use is y equals 2x minus 5. Okay, now I would use this to get these values. So I would go like this. I'd go y equals 2 times negative 1 minus 5, which equals, when I put negative 1 in for x, negative 2 minus 5, or negative 7. Then I'd go y equals 2 times 0 minus 5, so y equals negative 5. Now this is a special thing right here. And when I have x equal to 0, remember this is 0, 0, the origin, so when x is 0 and I plot negative 5, I'm sitting on the y-axis. The point is on the y-axis. So this is a special point here, and it's called the y-intercept. Okay, and it's when x equals 0. So we're going to use that a bunch today. Now when I put 1 in here, everybody can see I get negative 3. When I put 2 in here, everybody can see I get negative 1. You can work those out if you need to. All right, so I can't draw the line with just one point. I need to put another point. So I might put 2, negative 1. I could put any of these points on here. But I can put just the 2 points. It's fine. And I can draw the line. If I know it's a line, 2 points is enough to get me a good line. And I put arrows on either end, showing that it's going off forever in this direction and forever in that direction. Looks like it's going uphill, which is good. Now let's just talk quickly about the rule. Okay, the rule helped me to get the points, but sometimes now we're going to be able to devise the rule or get the rule ourselves. And here's how it works. I use a different color here. In each one of these, I can note that to get to the next y, I was adding 2 each time. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So it looks like the rule was to add 2 every time, and I'd get the next value. Well, that is that 2 right there. Okay? That is that 2. And the negative 5 is, in fact, the y-intercept. Okay? So I should be able to figure out rules from tables or graphs. And that's what's going to happen this term. All right, let's look at another quick thing. I might move this down because it's really small. At deciding if a point is on a line. Okay, so I've been given a rule, and I want to know, is this point on that line? So I use substitution, knowing that that's the x and that's the y. I say, okay, for A, I go y equals 2 times negative 2 plus 10. Oops, not y, 4, because there's a 4 there. So does 4, I'm asking the question, does 4 equal negative 4 plus 10? Or 6? No. So this is not on that line. Okay, unless they're equal, then they're not on the line. Okay, B says 4, same y, equals negative 2, important to put in brackets, plus 2. 4 equals negative, and negative is a positive, equals 4, so yes, 4 does equal 4, so it is. That point is on that line. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second, girls, while I shift gears. Okay, now I'm going to sketch graphs using intercepts. The y-intercept we said when x was 0, and the x is when y is 0. So there's a little example here, and it would benefit you to go through the example. Let's do some examples together, though. All right, so I'm going to graph each one of these. I'll graph A here, maybe with a better color. And I don't have to use a grid book, I just have to be careful and use a ruler, and I have to mark X and Y. And for A, I'm just going to use the intercepts. So all I'm concerned about is when X is 0, what's Y, and when Y is 0, what's X. So this is a table of values for intercepts, because when X is 0, I'm at the Y-axis, and when Y is 0, I'm at the X-axis. So I'm going to look at A, and I'm going to say, okay, when X is 0, I get 2 times 0 plus 3y equals 6, or 3y equals 6, because that's 0, or y equals 2. And I put 2 on the y-axis. And then for the x-intercept, I put 0 for y. So I get 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 6, or 2x equals 6, or x equals 3. And I put that, and I have my 2 points now, and I can graph the line. So that's a super easy way to graph. This one's just set up a twidge harder. I might scooch up a little bit, and I'll write the problem again for you if you can't see it. The problem says y equals 2x minus 6. Okay, so I'm going to use my little table of values, x, y, 0, 0. When I put 0 in for x, I get y equals negative 6. I think you can see that. We talked about that being the y-intercept anyway. Now putting 0 in for y means I'm going to have to do some algebra. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go 0 equals 2x minus 6. And now I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And I get 6 equals 2x, or x equals 3. So I'm going to put x equals 3 on, and I'm going to put y equals negative 6 on. And I'm going to graph my line. And that's it. Easy as pie. Okay, really good. Okay, I'll put your problems in Canvas.